Cori Bush is kind of the second wave of squad members, you know, the progressive wing of the Democratic Party, who's really fighting to produce a radically different social arrangement in our country, something that actually creates justice and equality. Well, she is in right now the fight for her life. And one of the people making her political fight so strenuous is APAC. Now, you got to understand, you know, how can I put it? Congressional district, once you win a congressional seat in a black neighborhood, in a Democratic area or a Republican area, you have a stronghold, you can run for re-election damn near uncontested for 20, 30 years. Ain't nobody fighting you. Ain't nobody trying to take your spot like that. Occasionally you get a Democratic challenger from when you who will fight you in the primary, but in general, once the party puts their blessing on you, once the delegates and the voters put their blessing on you, you're fine. But every once in a while, your political opponent or a special interest group that hates your guts will fund somebody from your party to beat you in the primary, to teach you a lesson. And that's what APAC has been doing to Democrats in the House of Representatives who oppose the state of Israel's practices against the Palestinians inside of Israel, in the West Bank, and in Gaza and around the diaspora. APAC, which stands for the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, is that right? Committee? Yeah. They are the leading pro-Israel lobbying group in the country. They have a lot of influence, and they continue to spend tens of millions of dollars trying to unseat candidates who don't agree with Israel's ethnic cleansing of Gaza and the West Bank. Now, after spending $17 million, I want y'all to hear that number again, $17 million to beat Jamal Bowman in New York, our Democratic congressman brother. I'm not a Democrat, but he's my brother. APAC is now targeting somebody else. They're now targeting Cori Bush. She, again, a representative from Missouri. And they believe that they can beat Jamal Bowman, they can repeat their success in St. Louis. So they're smearing her as an anti-Semite. They're raising money so that people can launch attack ads, TV ads, radio ads. They're doing everything they can to beat Cori Bush, but now they're coloring, even, pardon the expression, they're coloring outside the lines. They are releasing racist attack ads. And you have to understand, they've always been racist. The racist part ain't really new. But the levels of racism are getting worse. Just the other day, they released a mailer. It's from an APAC super PAC, right? And what they did, I'm going to show you the photo, right? But I just want to prepare you for it. They released a photo that basically distorted how Cori Bush looks. They did this because they want you to be afraid of her. We've seen this forever, right? Now, for those that don't know what Cori Bush looks like, here's Cori Bush. Whoops, that ain't Cori Bush. Thank God. Where is Cori Bush? This is Cori Bush. This is Cori Bush. You see Cori Bush? Look at her face. Now I'm going to show you another picture of Cori Bush. This is the APAC version. See what they did there? Do you see what they did there? Do you see what they did there? I want you to look again. I'm gonna tell you what everything you need to know, but I need you to pay attention and see it for yourself, so that later on you understand exactly what makes. I want you to see exactly what makes this racist. Okay, Let me bring this up again. I'm bring this up one more time. Stay with me, y'all. Stay with me. Almost done. But I need y'all to see this. So if you look at the picture, they do a couple of things. First, they make her darker, right? They take our sister and they make her darker. On all of the APAC ads, they make her darker. And the goal of making her darker, of course, is to make her scary to people, because we live in a white supremacist world where darker is scary. So they show her with a darker face. She already got the braids. They show her, they find the most frustrated or angry, whatever you want to call it, face to make her look dark and menacing and not one of us. Right? I don't know Cori Bush well, but that wouldn't be how I think of Cori Bush. And there's nothing wrong with being dark. Being dark is beautiful. Dark skin is gorgeous. Dark skin is the core of our identity. We are Black people. That isn't the point. The point is you made her darker than she is because white supremacist values suggest that blackness is ugly. So they did that, but they didn't just do that. People, what else they did here? Look at her forehead. They literally added a slope to her forehead. They added a slope to her forehead. Now, you know what they say about Black people and our brains, etc., right? So they change our features so that we look different. Her forehead is photoshopped and appears sloped, right? And shout out to The Intercept for doing doing this kind of investigation. They want to make you afraid. The Intercept did this really interesting piece that I want you all to read, and they break down the actual history of ads with tropes, from Jamal Bowman's run to Raphael Warnock's skin to all these other moments where we have clearly and unabashedly, or where they have clearly and unabashedly changed people's physical characteristics as a way of making them a threat, of making them menacing and threatening, of reinforcing white supremacist anxieties about Black people. This is not a coincidence. This is not a game. Also, family, this is not a dress rehearsal. The time is now to fight, because they're going to make our women, our sisters, our mothers, our daughters look like animals. They're going to make them look like primates. They are going to construct them as liars and dangerous and hate mongers. They're going to do all of these things because they know that it works. They know that they can win by the margin of us who don't care, or the margin of us who don't pay attention, while they are open enemies. And when I say they and our open enemies, I'm talking about anybody who doesn't believe in justice. It's hard to imagine that the Republican Party believes in justice. It's hard to believe that MAGA believes in justice. It's hard to believe that a party that will stop at nothing to win has any kind of ethical compass or moral base. Look at Jamal Bowman here. Just so you understand, this ain't new. This is Jamal Bowman. Look at what they did to him. They do the same thing. They make him shadowy. Bowman would defund the police. Bowman works against President Biden and the Democratic agenda. Bowman abandoned our allies like Israel and Ukraine. And then they make him dark and menacing and shadowy again. Why do they do that? Because it works. Why do they do that? Because it works. They know that white people are already skeptical about Negroes. And if you make them dark and shadowy and scary, the skepticism goes into rejection. So when APAC comes and publishes ads like this, and the ADL has done similar stuff, not in terms of campaign funding, but in terms of sort of playing into racist tropes and racist stories about Muslims, about Arabs, about South Asians, etc. These organizations are advancing their political interests by marshaling white supremacy. It's clear as day. It's clear as day. So what are we going to do? That's the question for y'all, family.